Yes, that's better. Welcome back.
Hello.
This is time to return to Nosetools and work out what's going on there. So we had just had a visit from a trade caravan which had left us some useful stuff. We had had some visits from some troglodytes who had left us some dead bodies after conveniently arriving at the same time as the trade caravan and thus getting beaten up by the caravan guards. There are now a bunch of undead troglodytes in our rubbish tip, which is fine. I think we can safely keep them there. We have had two waves of migrants. Indeed, one wave of migrants is currently arriving. Someone is carrying around a plump helmet spawn. No, sorry. He's carrying around several plump helmet spawn. What a useful person. I've bought some weaponry from the trade caravan, so possibly I should now start thinking about some military. I've recently built the beginnings of a hospital because someone got injured by the oh, I put that door in the wrong place, didn't I? Stoatface. I should fix that. Someone got injured by one of those troglodytes, so that will next time maybe they'll actually be able to be like taken to a hospital and stuff. We have a few people got killed in the caverns, and we either need to recover their bodies or memorialise them. I'm really torn about what to do about the giant cave spider. And much though I would like to euphemize that word, then I end up with hippos, and we have hippos in this game as well. So, but the question is, do I haul it and throw it into the rubbish dump where I'm fairly confident it can't get out when it comes back to life? Or do I leave it in the caverns? Because if I haul it to the rubbish dump, there's a slight danger it comes back to life en route. And that would be bad.
Are there techniques for preventing it being coming back to life?
Not really. Not really. I mean,
On fire, stake through the heart.
yeah, dump them in lava will do. No, don't have any lava available yet. Magma, the solution to all dwarven problems, really. So we do now have a staircase which connects the surface to the caverns. I'm thinking maybe I was a bit foolish to leave it open all the way, and I might want to put a little dog leg in it so that we can have floor hatches, lockable floor hatches on it. But like, I think treating the caverns as another bit of wilderness is kind of reasonable anyway. Yes, so we also have dead humans down here, which I probably want to and I've been trying to memorialise people, and it hasn't been working. In that we keep getting need unengraved slab messages. So I'm a bit worried by that. No tea, thank you. So.
No T is an acronym for Nosetools.
Really not. Let's just quickly dig that out because I'm trying to make my layout regular, and I've realised I put that corridor in the wrong place.
Could you get me an A5 envelope from upstairs, please?
Actually, I reached this bit, but okay.
Tables are a good thing to have in the hospital, so I'm making some tables. Let's just have a little while for the immigrants to arrive. What's that? It's an incoming bunny. A pet bunny. Right, okay. I'm slightly dubious about pets because, like, We have to bury them, probably. Quick check on what there is around. The only things alive that are dangerous. I don't think porcupines are dangerous. I don't think elk birds are dangerous. There are those three, but all of them, I'm pretty confident are in the rubbish tip. How many? What, you brought a goat as well? Is that a goat? No, it's a gosling. You brought a tame gosling.
Oh,
Thank you. And Thacom Larkstance's wishes to turn up and eradicate monsters. You do know what happened to the last 3 people who turned up here to eradicate monsters, don't you? Yes, you can stay. But...
Scott, can you post me an envelope down because I want to go and weigh some stuff?
okay, I've got ready to bring down, but I haven't
Yeah.
done Wow.
but like the human mace man and the human pike man both got killed in the caverns by the giant cave creature. So we have lots of new arrivals who are still sorting themselves out. I suppose we do have a reasonable number of monster slayers who haven't yet died. I probably need to make yet more beds, don't I? Oh yes, while the world is not horrifically dangerous, how about we fell some trees so we can get some wood?
I'm pretty sure I already need your now they seem like an avatar thing.
I've got an official picture of an elk bird because I actually managed to get them to hatch, which is a slightly tricky process after taming them, and decided to take as my reward from the authors of Dwarf Fortress a drawing of an elk bird. A drawing of elk, well, a drawing to commemorate the successful hatching of elk birds, which is yes, which indeed features a dwarf watching an elk bird coming out of its egg. Because, yes, one of the prizes you at least used to be able to get as a supporter of Dwarf Fortress was crayon drawings of Dwarf Fortress events. Right. I want to keep an eye on whether there are any weird undead turning up while we're out here cutting down trees. Where the hell are you two going? I don't like that.
I don't like this.
You're going hunting. You are not allowed to hunt. Hunting is not allowed. No, that's not the correct one. I want to go P. No, not P. Oh, I'd forgotten. P. L. Right. Hunting and related activities. Hunting not permitted. Because hunting is an excellent way to get yourself a long way away from the fortress at a time when it suddenly becomes very dangerous to be outside. Similarly, no fishing. Look, I've turned off fishing on you. Go back home. Because if you stay out here, you might die. Yes. Fishing's definitely turned off. Yes. Actually, is there a option for look?
Actually, that's a portalism we haven't seen try and do.
Hmm.
That's a portalism we haven't seen try and do yet.
Which?
They told me.
Yeah, that's Portal 2ism. Okay, there's nothing interesting, but I'm wondering if there was a general. Oh, someone wants. Okay, who are you trying to diagnose and why? I should appoint a chief medical dwarf, shouldn't I? then there's a button for find out what our current medical situation is, isn't there? Because we don't. Doesn't seem to be anyone listed there as known to be injured. So why are you trying to? Who are you trying to diagnose and why? And now dwarves are bringing in wood from outside, which is fine.
School kind of printing something. If you could, either bring it down or waft some like general.
Did you start tea?
I'm going to start tea now.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we have beds. Let us install beds in bedrooms.
I'm blocked by something. What did you want? Tea?
Tea.
Okay.
Oh, and I was also going to adjust my smoothing priorities to say this is not actually something you should be prioritising very much. Like, it all needs doing, but there is an awful lot of it to do. I didn't mean that square. You weren't meant to be hunting. Oh, is that something? We've got another hunter who's hunting elk birds. Look.
And in news that will shock precisely no one, the UK government is less useful for the Irish government. Do we have any open sellotape?
Sorry?
Do we have any open sellotape?
Yes, they're using it.
Oh, could you bring it down with you, please?
Well, I come down. Yes, I can do these things.
Okay.
You can see here a hunter hunting an elk bird.
And particular way the UK government is less useful than the Irish government is that the Irish government allowed you to send a certified copy of passports of other nations to prove that you were a filthy dual national, and the UK government insists on the original, thus meaning that you can't go anywhere at all with your passport or do anything that requires a passport for identification while you're waiting for the UK government to get off its arse and do something. Fortunately, I'm not planning on going anywhere for a bit. But really, people. Really.
Right, no one is currently hunting, no one is currently fishing. That is good.
And then we'll shoot.
That's part of hunting. There's a dwarven child playing make-believe and an awful lot of people doing nothing at all, which is kind of unfortunate and means I should probably find some things for them to do. One thing that they can start doing is installing more doors in these bedrooms.
Nothing is printed.
I've not got anything saying that it's not working.
I'll go and see if it says some words for
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just amused that the hunter appears to have finished off the elk bird by bashing it in the head with the steel crossbow. Possibly because I disabled them from hunting, and obviously shooting something with the crossbow qualifies as hunting, whereas bashing a hostile monster with it doesn't count as using it as a weapon, or doesn't count as hunting with it, and is therefore still permitted even if you're
Well,
that's mere self-defence.
fighting.
Yes.
Printing has just started.
There might be 2 copies of it then.
Right.
We'll find out.
That's meant to be another bedroom, isn't it? But I haven't got any more beds. Presume, yes, someone's making a new bed. Good. And we're not actually running out of doors yet, so let's install a door here as well. Indeed, we possibly have an excess of doors, because we appear to have 14 doors in stock, and I'm fairly sure we weren't meant to ever have 14 doors in stock.
All the doors in this fortress have a cheerful, sunny disposition.
And there are far too many of them. I mean, I deliberately want lots of doors, because that way I can isolate things that...
Things that become undead.
Right, see, no, amount of doors available is at most 4. There are far more than 4, so you should stop scheduling the construction of doors. Okay, someone is taking away a... Why is there a door job scheduled? The condition is not fulfilled.
You just printed out a single address label.
Yes.
So why is it taking all this time?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
I'm waiting for my address label to come through now.
Let's go.
Well, okay, how about I just temporarily... Setbacks from workshop, increase priority, conditions, details. That just allows me to set what material to make it from.
That's a bit unfortunate, isn't it? That Bedstead doesn't work well with applications that equivocate square root with tick.
Yes, it's quite confident that's the square root symbol. There is a perfectly good tick symbol in Unicode, and if you use that, you get it.
Yes, but not in code page 437.
Indeed.
Code page 437 definitely has a couple of things where, well, much nice though it would be to have.
Mm.
Did you finish 2018 when I drafted first?
Okay, hang on. I will go away for a little while and make tea. We're back. Right, where was I? Yes. So I'm being slightly alarmed by the continued insistence on... can I just say, don't feed that to any workshops for now? Does that correctly turn it off, I wonder? I mean, there'll still be one job, but... Oh, look, someone's taking a crutch into the hospital. Excellent. I should remove that door, which I accidentally built. Note the bunny following its owner around. So, just check the stock situation. We are reasonably okay for food. We even have some booze. I think. Let's just check. Drinks.
David asks, about your change of unit on workshops.
Oh, thank you, David. Yes. If naught equals no limit, then that's not very helpful, is it?
No, 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 no. There's no limit.
Small robot,
Let's have a look. JM. Naught equals no limit. Okay, yeah, so it was already set to no limit. So I can't actually say...
What's that good address label?
Well, you can shred or recycle or something like that.
It is printed my address label. That's how long mine took.
I suspect Verity's laptop is sending PostScript to the poor thing.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, but I did do some updates and it's probably swamped its hamster.
Yeah, I'll touch my label.
I thought there was an option for saying
Yes, yes,
disable this. Right, is there something here I can just go temporarily disable? No. Oh well, doesn't matter. We'll cope with a slight surplus of doors. We'll install more doors, as it were. Right. You can see I'm slightly worried about the size of our dining room. We're now trying to... Let's look up in the wiki what the rules for dining rooms were. Because I want to know how people use them and thus how I should lay out the room. So, a dwarf in a dining room will sit at a chair and then see if they can find an adjacent table. So we need to ensure that any time a dwarf sits down, there's no danger that they will end up fighting over a table with a neighbouring dwarf. Which probably means... Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the densest layout that could achieve that is. But let's go for putting... Well, I think we need more furniture in this dining room. Admittedly, the tables I built, though, were meant to go in the hospital. So let's put a table or two in the hospital for operating tables. And schedule the construction of 3 more tables and 3 more chairs. And those can go in the dining room. Eventually, they'll probably get encrusted with gems first. I've got some jobs to just say, encrust any furniture you find lying around with gems, more or less. Doesn't work very well because we have a shortage of some of the kinds of gem, but a lot of the doors in the bedrooms are now encrusted with gems. Indeed, now that there are beds and doors there, let us designate well, I think bizarrely in the standard thing, the doors don't actually end up part of the room, and you have to jump through stupid hoops to make doors part of the bedroom, which is silly. Still, let's just check that all of these are now bedrooms. Yes. Oops. No, what's the rooms? And we have a reasonable number of currently unoccupied bedrooms, so that's nice. Oh God, there's an undead giant olm because someone shot the bloody thing. Right. Hang on a mo. cute, yes. A giant amphibian predator found underground near water.
Okay, let's just call it a giant otter, really.
Yeah,
There exist giant otters in this world.
they do.
Oh,
Um,
anyway.
I mean, I've assumed that by amphibian they mean amphibian rather
So,
than amphibious.
Giant frog kind of thing.
Yes.
Giant axolotl.
Much larger cousins of the common olm.
That's very cool.
Well, we have a picture of an olm here. That being an actually real kind of thing, apparently. Giant olms, of course, are less real. And yes, there are giant otters, but they are not our giant otters. The giant otters in Dwarf Fortress are huge and are kind of monstrous. A large monster in the form of an otter.
Well, I mean, giant otters can take down, small crocodilian things.
I've just left the game running while I was doing that. That's going to be entertaining. Right, okay, what the hell is going on? How many people have died while I wasn't looking? Yeah, none as far as I can see. Excellent. How many people have ceased being dead while I wasn't looking? There's only the giant olm that's a problem. But we do have 3 people near the giant olm corpse who are currently unwell. Right. Did the giant olm die on our watch, as it were? Yes. Some bloody hunter went and hunted the giant olm and thus turned it into an undead giant olm, which has obviously not improved matters. Right. And the danger is now that people are going to keep going down into the caverns to try to recover the wounded citizens, etc., and finding that the place is full of undead giant olms. Right, let us work out where people are. Maybe ask them all to come into the interior of the fortress temporarily, so I can then seal off the caverns. No one on the staircase. There's an axe dwarf here who is currently in the caverns and who is probably who is a monster slayer, thus may not actually respond to my orders anyway, and maybe going to go off to try to deal with this undead giant olm, and has an axe. I assume they have an axe. Let's see if they have an axe. Inventory, bronze battle axe, some pretty decent armour, might actually be able to take out an undead thing. Okay, anyone else down here? That's an elk bird. Some other elk bird. Okay, it doesn't look like there are many down here. There's a human crossbowman, again a monster slayer, and hence kind of not my problem. You're a visitor. If you go doing stupid things, it's your own business at this stage. I'm basically just scanning around the map, seeing if okay, who are you? Are you the one? Where are you? That's the elk bird. Somewhere pretty obscure. Oh right, you're okay. You're in trouble. I don't think we can rescue you safely. like, either you survive because one of the monster hunters gets that elk bird, or you don't. And you're not going to be able to run from that situation because you're probably quite seriously unwell. Because we have over here an unwell hammer dwarf monster slayer, an unwell spear dwarf monster slayer, and an unwell peasant who was presumably Dakos Adriel Ficord,
There'll be 2 boxes on the table.
yes, who was trying to recover one of the wounded people.
2 boxes and 1 envelope.
One envelope with 2 labels on it.
So I think what that means is I confirm that the access into the caverns here is locked. Yes. Is there anyone on the surface? No. Which means I can lock that door and then pull the lever down in the dining room to seal off caverns in the surface. Oops, no, yes, and now people are going, oh, I can't get to the injured dwarves because someone has locked all the doors. Right, someone's pulled the lever and the front door is closed. So I think that now means there's no way that I know of that giant olm can get into the fortress, and there are a few monster hunters on the wrong side of the doors, but they came here to hunt monsters. What can they expect, really? So what's actually going on over here? How ill is everyone? You have a mildly injured neck and a broken nose, but you are overexerted. You have injuries all over the bloody place. Not seriously bleeding, but may not actually be able to do anything. And you rather perversely are, what, as yet uninjured, but a bit tired. The giant olm, of course, is undead. So everyone is currently bashing the giant olm corpse, and the giant olm corpse is doing appallingly badly at hitting anyone.
Is this a zombie?
Hmm?
Is it a zombie? Is that
Yes.
Okay.
So, like, it's possible that they'll actually manage to beat this thing up enough that it'll stop moving.
So I think not going to
Where should it go?
putting it on the stairs room because I was doing that thing with it.
Well, I wrote a completely painless passport from New York where I'm going to get a message at some point saying the passport photo is all wrong.
Is it the one you used last time?
It's the one I used for art. Whether Ireland and the UK use the same metrics, etc., is anybody's state. Especially the state.
No, don't kick it. Have you not got a warhammer anymore? You have what? You are holding in your right hand a Forgotten Beast parchment scroll. This is a Forgotten Beast parchment scroll. The rolls are made from rollers are made from citrine. Written on the item is a manual entitled "The Words, My Love," authored by Tald Match Charms. It concerns the gloss of scintillating as a poetic form. The writing is very rigid. Overall, the prose is not awful, but not very good either. Yes, You're a hammer dwarf. Would it not be better to have a warhammer than a scroll?
But he wants to be a poet.
Yes, but I can't help feeling this is not the thing to be using while fighting undead.
Probably not. Quite right.
Oh, I see you're using the article.
Anagrams are happening.
All right.
Oh, right, I read it as Dustman. Ah, sorry. That's Dustman. Oops.
I mean, I'm quite impressed by this peasant's cave spider silk cloak.
But then, the previous would actually like to know what a Strodno Dustman is.
Hang on, what?
Or was that the scroll that you were just looking at?
What is Strodno Dustman? Hang on, is that a person? I don't know.
It was not before that one. Yeah.
Oh right, yes. What's Strodno Dustman then? This is the inventory. Inspect it. It's a human bone grate. So a grating made out of human bones.
It's just called Strawberry Dustman.
Yes. Well, it's been named because it was the instrument used to kill this giant Olm, which was a terrible mistake. One kill, a giant Olm in Nosetools. Why are these people turning up armed, sensibly armoured, but armed with a grating and a scroll? I mean, this would explain why they're finding killing this undead creature a little bit difficult.
Apparently Goblin for Scorpion.
That's nice, yes.
Yes, the translation
Is Goblin for to cradle.
yes, the title, the window title thing did say on here it was translated as the Scorpion of Cradle.
So yes, this was apparently made by the goblins, stolen presumably by this dwarf. I can't remember if they were a dwarf, and then brought down here and used for beating up giant Olms, because that's apparently a sensible thing to do with our random bits of furniture.
Wow, Goblin for this discover is Omzom.
So how's the crossbowman doing? Successfully, repeatedly shooting the giant Olm. Okay, well, I mean, let's just leave them for a bit. Like, if they manage to defeat that giant Olm, I think the giant Olm only has the ability to push, which may be making its life a little difficult. I mean, yeah, many of its limbs are not working properly anymore. But the problem is that everyone else is like prodding it or hitting it with a scroll or whatever. The thing is that you're not likely to smash something's head in with a scroll. Oh well, I'll leave them down there. They're not getting in the way or causing any trouble. And if they manage to kill it, so much the better. Right. So in the meantime, I'm going to see if we can have another go engraving some memorial slabs, because I don't understand why it didn't work last time. Oh, we've accidentally got a meeting area up there. That's really unhelpful. Remove that meeting area. If you want to meet somewhere, meet either at the well or in the dining room. That's what the dining room is for. Let's put an an additional operating table in the hospital. Actually, we don't seem to be currently short of furniture in the dining room, so let's wait and let someone decorate those tables. We're slowly running out of meat. Let's have a quick look at a few people's feelings about the world. Well, that all looks good. Basically, I'm going, is there anything that people are generally unhappy about in this world? The answer seems to be not really, no, which is nice. What is that capital W and why is it in my dining room? Oh, right, is that... You have a spare water buffalo who doesn't appear to be assigned to be kept in the pasture. Let's fix that. Why is that pasture not... Oh, I think there's just other rubbish in the way. Right. Set pasture information. Stray animals should be pastured in the pasture. They should not be wandering around the fortress. Not least because people will then take them on as pets, and I'm not sure I want that many pets. So now a bunch of people have jobs of getting these animals up to the pasture. I mean, maybe we should slaughter some of them because the pasture is looking a bit crowded, being as it is one tiny room full of pigs. But nothing there seems to be desperately starving, so slightly alarming. Job item lost or destroyed from a drinking job. We don't seem to have... Okay, no one's actually trying to engrave anything at the moment, it looks like. Okay, why are we getting a bunch of job item lost or destroyed from drinking tasks, I wonder? Maybe there's some terrible confusion going on over mugs. Right, she doesn't seem to mind. Whatever it was that cancelled it didn't leave her upset, so I have no idea at the moment. right, that's nice. Let's see what, since someone's just turned up as a visitor, let's see what's going on down in the...
Good, nice walk.
The giant Olm corpse is still dead, still undead. The human crossbowman has probably run out of bolts and is thus beating the thing up with their crossbow. This is not doing much good. The human hammerman is doing a pretty good job of using their shield, and is thus presumably getting even better at using a shield. It looks like someone has managed to get injured though. Just slightly bruised. Will probably be okay. Yes, the human hammerman has, while horrified, is completely uninjured, but rather tired, because they're down here repeatedly attempting to beat up this giant Olm and making a complete pig's ear of it. We also have down here a thirsty spear dwarf. And a stunned and unconscious hammer dwarf, who is actually quite badly injured. But, like, I'm not sending anyone in to help. So, yes, the visitors are having fun down there. I should possibly start setting some hotkeys so that I can get to different places quickly. And we still have plenty of spare bedrooms. We just saw our engraver going off to go to bed. One thing we're lacking is soap. Yes, we can see here that something is starting to rot quite badly. Hence the clouds of miasma. But they're conveniently down in the caverns, so we don't really care.
Is this Seth, I think this is yellow, sandy, violet, yellow, brown, so maybe sandy is gold. Does that make any sense to the resistor comment? Kind of ordering colours?
Yes, you're not allowed. I mean, yes, the gold is generally not allowed in the middle of colour codes. It's either as a multiplier or as a tolerance band. So I don't think your sandy is what you think it is. What it is, I don't know. I left it unpaused again, but I don't think that matters. Yes. There's still a job scheduled there of... Maybe I should give someone else the task of the ability to engrave things, since apparently my one engraver is busy sleeping or otherwise distracted. If we pick someone who's not currently doing anything, I mean, we've got these amazing hunters who are like, yeah, that's very nice. I'm not letting anyone hunt. Oops, no. Try that again. Z. Oh, okay, you're actually a legendary musician. Right, well, I'm not really much good at anything else. Right, in that case, I'm going to enable stone detailing for you. Actually, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's actually stone crafting you want. Well, let's enable stone crafting on you as well, simply to give you some more work to do. Needs unengraved slab. Why are we repeatedly getting that? Like, we've got slabs. There are lots of them. Let's be slightly silly and construct a slab stockpile. Here.
Okay, it's something.
The one we saw.
Yeah.
Is there anyone?
Yes, and then again, they made 3 that were like that. That's the only one that survives
Yes, so there is only one.
intact. We saw bits of one of the others.
Right, we now have a slab stockpile. Let's see if that helps. You're still making doors. I'm just going to cancel that job entirely because it's gone mad. Remove. That was the wrong one. Wonder what I just removed. Oh, who cares? We'll find out later. Because I think we probably have a slight oversupply of rock doors now. We have 33 uninstalled doors. Not counting the doors that are actually acting as doors. Needs unengraved slab. Right, so that still doesn't work. If we say that should give to that Craftdwarf's workshop, maybe now we can turn it on. If we still... I don't know what to do after that. I have... incidentally, what's that thing if it's not a bone? And similarly, there's 14 stray one-humped camel bones there. Why can you not engrave with... Why can you not decorate with them? Is there something weird about this stockpile, about this workshop? Ooh! No, we are actually engraving a memorial. Excellent. Finally. In that case, let us at least ensure that both of the... I think they were technically visitors, but... actually get engraved memorials. Meanwhile, how is the... Someone surely is going to get a lucky hit in sometime. Right, and we now have a Phyllite memorial to Ulka Lemhukando. It's a well-crafted Phyllite memorial encrusted with square brilliant cut white jades. Reads, in memory of Ulku Lemhukando, born 121, struck down by the troglodyte entrance clenches in the year 158, devoted mother. So let us install that slab somewhere. because that will ensure that she doesn't come back as a ghost. So if I set that to give to that as well, will that work? Will we then actually be able to engrave things? Yes, I think that memorial is now installed, so someone will not be coming back as a ghost. I'm not sure if the troglodytes can come back as ghosts. I'm not, to be honest, entirely sure whether dwarves can come back as ghosts. But it kind of seems polite to memorialise. And not dwarves, humans can come back as ghosts. But it seems polite to memorialise them anyway. Yes, they are actually both humans. One of them we haven't found the corpse of yet. Okay, where were you found and why? Oh, are you one of the ones down there who finally got... No. Okay, I don't know how we found you there. Moral Ikagrogroth. Something like that. Must have died quite some while ago. And we just found their corpse. Well, let's make a memorial to them as well, to be on the safe side. Alright, we're successfully decorating things with bone as well. Of course, if this is only able to take things from those if this is only able to take if this brains Harris, if this workshop is only able to take items from the neighbouring that's surely grey, which will make that a 3-9 something.
Is that not yellow in the fourth one?
Oh, the fourth is yellow.
Why did you say yellow wasn't allowed in the middle?
No, I said gold wasn't.
Okay, yellow and gold are different, fair enough.
Yes.
Okay.
That's yellow, grey, purple, yellow, brown.
Okay.
So that's a 3-9 something. 3-9 is one of the preferred values, so that's fairly plausible. So I think I should thus make an additional furniture stockpile here.
Thank you, Google. What's taupe? It's French for mole. Excellent.
Yes, I know that.
Taupe is kind of...
Yeah.
It's an colour.
Yeah.
I thought it was more
See, it
blue.
can be quite grey.
I thought it was bluey. There we go.
Who is throwing a tantrum and where are they?
So 4870,000 ohms.
Hmm?
So 487,0000 ohms.
Yellow. Hang on.
Yellow, grey, purple, yellow,
Oh,
brown
yes.
is what Hornell says.
That feels. Yeah, that's not a very common number. But, like, maybe it's true. Like, I didn't buy them. Okay, there appears to be a bunch of people now down in the caverns getting into fights with one another because getting into fights with dead giant olms is apparently a thing. Well, we now wait for the saving to finish. Yeah, my dwarves are having, my visitors are having lots of fun down in the caverns, but I'm quite happy to leave them to it. And we will occasionally memorialise any that we find dead. So bedroom situation, still have plenty of spare bedrooms. I think people are busy decorating the new tables for the dining room, and the dining room is not overcrowded with people actually trying to eat in it anyway. We still have adequate food, we still have adequate drink, so no one is starving. I think we should start setting up some kind of military. Well, they should wear armour if we can find some armour. We don't, in general, want to put miners in the military because that tends to cause terrible confusion over what things they should be carrying around with them. Which is awkward because it's slightly hard to identify reliably who is a miner here. When it says miner, that means that's their highest skill, which isn't necessarily... They aren't necessarily the only people who have mining enabled. Probably a random peasant isn't. A peasant who's a competent axe dwarf, yeah, you're going to be in charge of that squad. I've disabled hunting on everyone, so... and fishing, so a fisher dwarf who is halfway competent mace dwarf is certainly worth keeping around. Similarly, an animal caretaker. Two miners who are competent pike dwarves. We do have woodcutters actually being woodcutters, and the chief medical dwarf is apparently also a competent axe dwarf, but that may not be a wise thing to do, because they're also our only halfway. Let's remove them for now, right, and then just stick in people who are not obviously minors. Let's not try to be too complicated yet, and just see if that does anything good.
Oh, that, yes. Yes! Oh, American Tourist culture is particularly
Okay, we apparently have a shortage of buckets. Well, since we now have a decent stock of wood, let us make a couple of buckets. Because buckets will be useful. Oh! Okay, the guys down in the no, you need only things that have grasping or biting abilities, I think, can revive. So this does mean that hair can revive, because the hair still has the attribute of being part of the thing it was attached to. So as long as some of the hair came off a head or an arm, then it may still be able to come back to life. And similarly, skin. But blood is just undifferentiated. Well, okay, it's differentiated down to the fact that we carefully record who it came from, but not which part of them it came from, because it doesn't really have a part of the body. So we don't get. So you don't get the pools of blood on the floor starting to do interesting things. What does that red down arrow mean, I wonder? Oh, that means they're stressed. Yes, well, that's nice. But like, that's because you've been foolishly hanging around down here trying to beat people up, beat monsters up. I mean, if you're going to become a monster hunter, you can expect it to be a slightly stressful experience. Hammer Dwarf continues to beat people up with a scroll. Look, you're not going to kill the troglodyte with a scroll. You're really not. Yes. So none of you has actually like given yourself a weapon yet, I see. Maybe we should set up somewhere for people to train. Are you getting good at engraving yet? Up to adequate engraver. Once we've smoothed a reasonable amount of space of rock, then we can start engraving it with tales of the history of our fortress and indeed our civilization. but like I think getting things smoothed first is a higher priority. Another person visiting. Well, you're still not coming in because there's still... Basically, I'll let you into the fortress if you can take out that... Oh! The giant Omcorpse has finally been killed.
What by? Boredom?
I don't know, let's find its last entries. The human crossbowman bashes the giant Omcorpse in the head with her bronze crossbow, bruising the muscle. The force twists the neck, tearing apart the skin. The spear dwarf strikes the giant Omcorpse in the head with Strodno Dusman, the bone grate, bruising the fat. The spear dwarf strikes the giant Omcorpse in the left rear leg with his steel shield. The spear dwarf strikes the giant Omcorpse in the head with his steel shield. But finally, the human crossbowman bashes the giant Omcorpse in the head with her bronze crossbow, and the injured party's crushed. I think she'd long since run out of bolts, and this is why you make your crossbows out of things like bronze in this game, so that they are big and heavy, and you can beat people with them when you run out of crossbow bolts.
Shotgun shells that you can't lodge them with the shotgun.
Yes, in this in Dwarf Fortress, the most important feature of the material you use to make your crossbows is that it should be heavy, so that your crossbow dwarves can beat people in the head with their crossbow when they run out of crossbow bolts. So lead is a good material if you can manage it. I can't remember if you can actually I think you can't make crossbows out of lead, though. But like bronze is pretty good. Bismuth bronze is heavier. Right, okay, I think that means I can... I mean, there are still the troglodytes around, but I'm like not seriously worried about actual live troglodytes. So I think now we are brave. We unlock that floor hatch and we open the front door. And we maybe haul some... No, not that one. Maybe we haul some injured dwarves back to the hospital. Meanwhile, let us install an armour stand there in the hope of... Yes, we're making more buckets. I think now a lot of people have got jobs that are... Yeah, the troglodytes may be a bit of a problem. So, what's that red liquid? Pool of troglodyte blood and some giant cave hippo ichor. Let us also mark right, I think the giant cave hippo was helpfully bludgeoned to death to the point where it didn't have a recognisable head and thus couldn't come back to life. Good. So I don't think it actually is chitin usable for things. So we might be able to convert that chitin into something useful. We may need to worry about clothes at some point. A bunch of dwarves are now scurrying around in the so someone is chief medical dwarf. apparently diagnosing a patient. Here they are. Chief Medical Dwarf. You stoats, you walked into the spider's web. Giant, yes, a giant web that's actually thus a problem. So we have an injured dwarf here. Broken toe, various other injuries. Also short some teeth. So she should thus now be diagnosed. And now we probably have the problem that no one is actually scheduled to do anything useful with her. So if I go ZH, she has a bunch of stuff and she needs cleaning and suturing and dressing. And I bet our chief medical dwarf doesn't have those. No one, I suspect. Well, let's see. Let's give it a few seconds and see if anyone has taken on the job. Oh, right. Someone's taken on the job of cleaning the patient, at least. Because I think anyone can do that. The troglodyte is being awkward, but... yeah, maybe I shouldn't have asked them to recover the dead hippo, because they're now all going to get tangled up in the web trying to get to its corpse. Let's mark it as don't actually try to get this out. It's just going to be embarrassing for all of us. Also, maybe... oh, go on, have your fun. I don't care. Right, so I'm trying to keep half an eye on what's going on in the hospital. Someone there has broken tissue and an infection. Oh dear. Yes, the problem is we don't have any soap at the moment, so dealing with infections is kind of tricky. No one seems to be... we don't actually seem to have a job of suturing this patient yet, though, so let's leave things for a little while and see if people get put back in their correct places. I think actually let's give the chief medical dwarf all of the medical labours, because oh, they already do, right. I did that when they arrived, I think. So now, like, if there is medicine to be done, the chief medical dwarf will get on it. And we have... oh, we haven't got any thread. Oh dear. Yes, right. How do we make thread? We probably need some kind of workshop for that. So let's dig out a new room to put a workshop in. Yes. Dig out a room to put a workshop in. I think we can make thread out of some kinds of hair. So we need a farmer's workshop. We can make hair thread out of any butchered animal that gives us hair. job. So I think I dumped the last batch of hair down into the rubbish dump because, like, it can come back to life, which is a bit dangerous. I mean, it's not very dangerous because, like, it's hair. Yes. Suturing will become available shortly. Give me a moment. Peasant has become attached to a sheep wool dress. Right, so build workshop. Farmer's workshop. There, out of phyllite blocks. Make some more blocks. We're short of blocks. Install doors, because this is going to be a slightly dangerous location. Let's create a stockpile for keeping hair in. Hair a kind of refuse? Maybe it's not actually. Oh, hair / wool. Yes, there it is. So block all apart from commit all hair and wool. And then let's see what we have by way of animals. We have a stray water buffalo bull, calf. I don't think we have any. We have one donkey, do we? Yeah, we don't actually have. We have a donkey and a water buffalo and a water buffalo calf, but not actually enough water buffalo to produce like a breeding population. So let us slaughter the water buffalo. Hope that will become someone's job. Not yet. If of course someone finds some thread, some hair lying around. Yeah, if you want to try to eradicate monsters, feel free. That suggests that there's a troglodyte corpse somewhere that we should dispose of. Indeed. Yeah, you can too. Yes, I should go. We should dump those troglodyte corpses before any embarrassment ensues. Right, the water buffalo bull has been slaughtered, which should now mean that we have a bunch of vaguely edible bits and some hair. We can dispose of the nervous tissue immediately. We should probably start being able to tan things, shouldn't we? Let's save the skin for now and build a tannery next door to the thing. And that hair should then get transported over to here, and we can say make spin thread. Probably don't want skin stored there. No, enable. No, wrong button. Just want skulls and bones and actually probably shells and horns, but not hair or... yes, that's better. I suspect we don't have anyone who is... literally, everyone is actually busy at the moment, so maybe the reason they're not spinning thread is simply that they don't know that they should. Mark it as a high priority job. If in a little while there's still no one doing it. Okay, I shall pick someone whose job it will now be to spin thread for us. You're currently idle. So, enable spinning. But now we have someone who's actually going to go off and make us some thread. Well, if they can work out how to get to the stairs. Of course, they've never done this before, so it may take a bit of effort. They brought their pet gosling with them, though, so... I'm sure it will be fine. Okay, why are there 110 thread kicking around?
Because you
Oh!
someone making thread and they can stop.
No. Because there is one... we have a huge source of thread.
Oh, it's your cave program.
Yes. Let's have a quick look at... So, how does that work then? Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, right. So we build a loom, and that automatically produces the work task collect webs and turns collected webs directly into silk threads.
Looms
No, they don't.
threads.
But it's the loom. The loom is where you instruct people to do it from, which means you need to build a loom, and indeed tell people that they're weavers, in order to do something that is completely unconnected.
Right.
Anyway, I have at least some thread now. I think. So it's possible that that they've given up on trying to suture these wounds now. The Chief Medical Dwarf is certainly feeling fairly relaxed. And not actually engaged in any suturing. There are still a couple of unhappy dwarves in the okay, so here's one of our injured dwarves. Let's see how they're feeling. No treatment scheduled, but so they got evaluated and cleaned and had their bones set and have got some dressings. Oh right, and they received water buffalo hair sutures on right elbow. So yes, we have successfully sutured a visiting dwarf, and they are now, their ability to grasp is somewhat impaired. We have someone else in there. Who has had their compound fracture repaired, and why they're sleeping in the hospital I don't know. Presumably they'll get better in due course. Oh, they've cleared off, right. So there are now no patients in the hospital. We have a tolerable amount of thread, buckets. We have no soap, which is a problem. So possibly I want to start a soap industry. So I dug that out for making a tannery, didn't I? On the grounds that we're going to need clothes eventually. Let's construct a tannery there. And I think once you've tanned leather, it can't come back to life.
Good.
Right. I think I now want to have a... So based on that, maybe we should... So we're now just spinning all the thread we can. Okay, is anyone building that? Oh, I suspect that means no one is assigned to tanning. Pick a random member of the fortress and... enable tanning. Right, somebody's now coming along to build the tanner's shop. think then we have auto tan turned on already, so that should then mean that someone picks up the job of tanning the water buffalo hide, which will make sure it doesn't come back to life, and also make it available as a material for make the leather available as a material for making things out of. So, but I also would quite like a loom, but for pretty much pointless reasons. So let's dig out a room right up here. And we're up here. Let's stick some doors in. We'll just build a loom in there, probably disable auto loom. You still have this rather stressed dwarf kicking around. Why are you so stressed? Mostly you feel that you want some excitement in your life, but you've been horrified and afraid and so forth because of all the death you've seen, because you're a sodding adventurer type who turns up in places and says hi, I'd like to kill your monsters. Actually, no, you're not, are you? Sorry, you're one of my locals. You're the poor person who went down to try to rescue one of the adventurers. Yes, okay. I totally understand why you're stressed. Sorry. You're allowed to be stressed. Are you busy having a shouting match with the expedition leader by any chance? Yes. She feels empathy while being yelled at by an unhappy citizen. Yeah, that's quite justified. I mean, I should probably have kept you out of the caverns. She feels satisfied when yelling at someone in charge. So she feels better now, having yelled at the expedition leader. Is now hiding in the expedition leader's office. So yes, I think so. Yes, once I've built a loom, then we can collect some silk threads. Turn off auto loom though. We will at least temporarily allow for automatic web collection. Let's just have a little wander around down here. See if there's anything obvious that wants dumping. Where are you going? Oh, you're a monster hunter, are you? Marking a bunch of corpses for dumping so they don't end up.
go to the post office, except I don't have everything else tomorrow. Giant pile of stuff. I'll be worried about something.
Yes, everyone wants to come here to eradicate monsters. Someone has found a cave crocodile, and the foolish visiting spear dwarf is beating it up with their shield because... oh no, they're beating it up with the grating. Try actually using a spear. It'll be much more efficient. It looks like we don't have a weaver. Okay, where does weaving appear in this list? Shearing and spinning are considered to be part of... oh, there it is, weaving. Farming, but not weaving. So, and troglodyte corpses are being hurled down into the pit. Where they can come back to life to their heart's content. Possibly the things that weren't troglodytes we could actually have done something more interesting with, but what the hell. Right, now our one weaver is on a collect webs job. Because we don't have auto loom thread on, that should now have left thread there. Right, okay, that would have been a much quicker way to get some thread. It also clears some of the cruft away from down here. See that our rubbish tip is now filling up with miasma, but that's fine. That's one of the reasons why it has a lid. Right, so someone is continuing to beat up a cave crocodile with a shield and occasionally a bone grating, because I'm sure that will work fine. Right, and we have used all of the remaining we found some wounded to recover. The wounded person is immediately buggered off, so presumably they weren't very wounded. The spear dwarf who has been bashing people with this human bone grate has become attached to it.
Someone that needs to put their laundry in dry.
We have no unoccupied bedrooms. Right, time to dig out some more bedrooms, I suppose. Is that meant to be a bedroom? It doesn't. It looks like it probably isn't. It doesn't have a bed in it. I should fix that. In which case, temporarily undesignate that and install a bed. Oh, we have no spare beds. Right, make beds. Well, that wasn't very sensible, was it? Now I have to move the cursor down to the next room each time. Oh well, it'll do. Right, 3 miners setting to work. Four miners digging out a new batch of bedrooms. Meanwhile, we're making beds. Good. Yes, stay. I'm quite happy for everyone to turn up here and keep beating up whatever the hell there is. Spear dwarf passes out from exhaustion because beating up a cave crocodile with your shield takes a long time. Maybe you could leave it alone for a bit and go to bed. But I've just installed a new bed for your comfort and convenience. Right, now we have a spare bedroom. I think. Yes. Admittedly, if we wait long enough, maybe someone will decorate them. But Oh dear. We have a depressed human crossbowman.
Just human.
Crossbowman.
Ah.
I mean, this to an extent is not my problem because they're not a citizen anyway.
I missed the mud and wondered why you had a that's crossbow. Oh, of course. Junior press bow would be giving it.
Thank you.
Anyway, hello.
She has become haggard and drawn due to the tremendous stresses placed on her.
So it's crossbow warmer.
Yes. Well, yes. Basically, she was terribly traumatised by going hunting monsters, the fool. She turned up here to hunt monsters and found it a rather unpleasant experience.
There's something about the top paragraph there that looks like a Mono diary entry. All the random coloured words are going every now and then.
She dreams of becoming a legendary warrior, even though she's been traumatised by her.
Yeah, she will never become a legendary warrior now. Sadly, in Dwarf Fortress, depression is incurable. Hmm?
Yeah, the children's names are wonderful though. Take care to treat torches.
And that feels a bit like one way. You can't even cheer her up with, nice a door to her room.
Well, she's not a citizen, so I'm not sure she even has a room. That might be why she's so stressed, of course. Maybe I should work out how we allow non-citizens to have bedrooms. Now that those rooms have been built, let us mark them to have their walls smoothed, walls and floors smoothed, so that they will be more pleasant. Except, of course, that this means that for several years there will be dwarves going bang, 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 bang in the bedrooms, clearing, smoothing the walls, or however it is that they smooth walls. Right, that's all the doors installed, so now we can designate all of these as bedrooms. Oh, except for that one, which I seem not to put a bed in. Let's fix that. So yes, I think we may have a problem that ordinary bedrooms are not actually I mean, my bedrooms are insanely oversized, but that's because I'm kind of trying to make everything the same size.
Whoa.
Hmm?
Your nuke looks different shape and green.
Oh right,
My
yes.
nuke looks green as well.
My nuke is facing the other way and white.
Well, yes. Font differences.
Yes.
Right. What do I want to do? Yes, I was going to look up taverns actually. So I think if you want a bedroom.
So, you know, is there something wrong with contacting menu?
Visitors do not eat, drink, or sleep. Right. I think. But then we have long-term residents. What does that do then? Anyway, I've left it unpaused again while reading the wiki. That's not helpful. Right. Okay, what's gone wrong while I've been away? Nothing has surprisingly come back to life. Good. Several things have died having come back to life. Good. No one who really matters seems to have died. Good. You appear to be injured and unhappy. I mean, I think you are probably getting better, so I'm not too worried about you. And like you have been treated, so you're probably going to heal. See, this is the kind of person who should be a monster hunter. He felt satisfied, remembering improving fighting, so that's not perfect, but still. Didn't feel anything after seeing a human's dead body. Didn't feel anything after seeing a cave crocodile's dead body. Didn't feel anything while in combat. So he's not quite at the point of actually being, of actually enjoying slaughtering monsters. I'm just looking around these. Oops, no. So yes, there are people wanting to pray, which they've not been able to do. I wonder if we can help with that. Looking up temples. So I think all that I really need to do is mark somewhere as being a temple. So let's mark the. Can I do that just by going to the well, which we're not, which is kind of a meeting area that's not actually anything special. I don't really want to designate my dining hall as a temple. That feels weird. Can I mark that? Temple to no specific deity. Right. We're now going to get a sudden load of pray jobs. Yes, here we have someone who has decided that they need to pray to Abod, and indeed is doing so in the entrance to the temple. The temple looks very much like the room with the well in it. Indeed, we have one person praying to Abod, one person meditating on death, and one person meditating on mountains in there. Someone meditating, several people meditating with exclamation marks.
No. Very vigorous meditation.
Yes. Okay, right. Well, that was clearly a useful place to designate. Everyone is now crowded. Maybe I should finally floor over the remaining open water in there. Got enough blocks to do so? No, we need 8 blocks and we've only got 7 blocks. Make more blocks. Are we off for thread now? We've now got lots of thread because someone has harvested all of the spider's webs, yes. And thus they are... Thus, A, they will not now trap dwarves, and B, we have lots of things. I think I should thus temporarily turn off auto collect webs, because I don't actually want, in general, don't want dwarves running around in the caverns. You do seem to have a bit of a problem that these people turn up wanting to hunt things and then get very stressed about the experience. But everyone is around the well, praying and meditating, and hopefully not falling in the water. Like, the entire room is crowded with dwarves and humans.
You need to make a bigger room?
Nah, it'll be fine. But I'm going to floor over that patch of water, which should help. I just need to get some more blocks made first. Oops. Oops. Yes. Right. That's now scheduled for flooring, which will give us a bit more space. Because I did have some nice large open pools in there for so that people could easily get at water. But now that we've got a well, that's not so necessary. Now, lots of other people are piling in there in order to add some extra floor. Because this is treated as 8 separate jobs for building a square of floor, so they do it all in parallel. Right, we now have a bit more space down there. Up there. Still quite crowded. Someone is off recovering a wounded person. Who has immediately left the hospital again. Oh, someone's been found dead. That's unfortunate. I should do something about the people we're finding dead, because, like, now that we have access to the caverns, if they come back to life, that would be really unfortunate. So I think we need to start building somewhere to bury people. Well, dwarves.
You're not just going to throw them down big.
I mean, I could just dump them in the... I suppose I could. It might be safer to just make memorials to them all, which, incidentally, I've been putting in the place that's now a temple, and just hurl them into the rubbish dump. Yes, that's probably true, actually. Okay, why have you... Oh, was that the one who was terribly stressed? Okay, well, let's just mark the corpse for dumping. And engrave a slab for them. And make some more slabs. But yes, I think we clearly had a great shortage of a great desire for religious buildings in this place. About half of the population is now meditating or praying. Or in memory of moral Icthagrigoth, born 105, suffocated, slain by the troglodyte Trust Beige in the year 158, slayer of the giant cave hippo Blocked Grave, lover of paradise nut Woodwood. Woodwood? Don't think that's quite how that's meant to go. An exceptional phyllite memorial encircled with bands of one-humped camel bone and oval-cut white jades. I presume they'll stop meditating and praying eventually. Incidentally, who is it getting into fights? Oh, right. Yes, hurling the dead dwarf down into the pit killed one of the undead, or re-killed one of the undead in there, so that's nice. Someone else wanting to eradicate monsters? Yeah, come on in. The monsters are lovely. Well, they're quite fatal, really. We have some Dralthers. Large, long-bodied grazers. Okay, those are not a problem. I mean, maybe someone will insist on trying to eradicate them, but I don't care. Actually, I reckon the temple is the wrong size at the moment, yes. Yes. Resize it to include all of that floor. It'll help people to redistribute themselves so that they actually use all of the space. Ooh, someone has created a masterpiece limestone slab. Della Thingamabob, wasn't it? Della MX Hollon. Someone who wanted to make a masterwork. She feels satisfied after producing a masterwork. She dreams of creating a masterwork someday, and this dream was realised. Excellent. That should keep her happy for a while. I do hope that meditation is good for dwarves.
Talk with the stones.
Let's install the memorial to the recently found dwarf. Have a quick wander around the caverns and check that there are no dead bodies that we can now. General principle of hurling dead bodies, or even things that look like dead bodies. I suspect these mangled skeletons are not able to come back to life because they are too mangled. But like, it seems to me worth disposing of them anyway, just to be on the safe side. Probably not worth hurling all the teeth down there. Actually, isn't there something else you can do with it? No, I mean, in theory, well, it's rotten anyway now, so it's rubbish. I think we can butcher corpses that we create in the caverns. And another troglodyte corpse. But they have at least now all organised themselves. Some equipment. If we make this into an armoury, and say that people can train there, appears to be what's going on with them? Okay, I don't know. Well, the gosling and the bunny appear to be chasing one another around. That miner is hungry and thirsty, but presumably is thus going to drink and eat, which will help. Yep. The gosling and the rabbit are just chasing one another around the fortress at the moment. the various monster slayers are finally relaxing a little after some vigorous meditation. Admittedly, that one at least a little alarmed. Now, some people are actually practicing their individual combat drills, which should be helpful. Someone has become an engraver. Got up to adequate engraver and is thus officially classified as an engraver. Yes, that one is a legendary musician.
Just suddenly got the one.
Yeah, our water supply is quite adequate. Oh, we're running out of things for storing drink in. Let's make a few more then. It was rock pots made in the Craftsdwarf's workshop, wasn't it? Oops. Rock pot. If you can. I'm not quite sure how the giving to workshops is working at the moment. Get combat reports from people throwing things into the rubbish tip and hitting the undead creatures at the bottom of the rubbish tip. We've dispatched several undead creatures in the bottom of the rubbish tip just by throwing things at them. Pigs keep escaping. I should put a door there. And a door there. Pigs keep escaping from the pasture.
I was very confused then. I heard pasture as until past and future.
No.
It's confusing.
Okay, that was fine. Got a door. Someone's left a sock in it. Okay, no, someone's actually left an entire set of armour in it. What? Put your armour back on. Okay, no, it's not owned by anyone at the moment. I think someone has decided they're having that stuff, though. Yes. Or possibly it was someone whose armour it was already and they for some reason took it off. But inactive equals uniformed. And like there's only 5 of you, I'm frankly willing to leave you permanently set to military tasks. Though you do seem to have a slight habit. A giant rat has stolen plump helmets. Giant rats a problem? They won't start fights on their own, okay. Snooze. Yes, it's after midnight. I should probably save and stop. So a quick summary of where we are. Okay, the surface is full of giant tortoises, which are dead, or rather undead. A giant tortoise is not particularly scary, but I probably want not to let anyone into the No, we're not short of plump helmets, I'm pretty sure of that. You probably don't want to let undead giant tortoises into the fortress anyway, though. Oh look, we've seriously injured the recently having come back to life corpse of a dwarf, and I think probably killed it again. That's nice. No, not quite killed it, it appears. Angled beyond recognition, but not yet actually incapable of moving. Anyway, I think I should thus... Giant tortoises are almost certainly not building destroyers, so I think I just lock the front door. While they're there. And because I try to avoid that anyone having any cause to leave the fortress. Okay, let's just check we haven't run out of plump helmet spawn. Or are indeed are close, not and are not close to running out of plump helmet spawn. We've got 54. Of which quite a few are in the ground. Yeah, that's fewer than I'd like. Something been happening to the plump helmets that's causing their spawn not to get properly retrieved. Todd Garnish ruler is throwing a tantrum. And has punched the chief medical dwarf. feels regretful after she's getting better. She was enraptured after communicating with Lema the Azure, but sadly was overstressed by by a foolish thing of going and hunting creatures in the caverns, even though she was apparently horrified at the experience. Let's just check the chief medical dwarf isn't too unhappy about this. Shocked after being attacked, but otherwise all right. Yes. Her left upper arm is bruised as a result of being punched by the tantruming visiting human. Right. Well, anyway, so yes, we have a big box of undead troglodytes. We have some slightly upset dwarves, mostly upset because, and indeed humans, mostly upset because of having. I know why we're running out of plump helmet spawn. It's not a problem because no one's eating the plump helmets. We have 302 plump helmets kicking around. So that means those contain between them 302 spawn, which is obviously going to be enough to keep us adequately supplied just as soon as anyone bothers to eat them. And like if we stop human crossbowmen starting fist fight. You ran up to someone, punched them, and then ran away. As a result, you punched our broker. You punched them so hard you managed to tear the skin in their neck. And so now they've gone off to the hospital to be treated. And are currently in need of diagnosis. Suturing, dressing, I think they're better now. Well, at least they've been adequately patched up and are now resting in the hospital. Cleaned, sutured, alpaca wool dressing applied. Our broker can now recover from having been punched by an angry But she feels satisfied having discussed her problems with an acquaintance. That's good. And she's currently praying, presumably for guidance as to how not to punch everyone. We have another slightly less stress, and her praying has certainly made her feel better. Bloody hell, she's polytheistic. Faithful worshipper of Donu the Fated, a worshipper of Pobe the South Vault, a worshipper of Galka Hatewisp, an ardent worshipper of Rushan, a worshipper of Bastan the Regal, a faithful worshipper of the Knights of Dusk, a dubious worshipper of Ngekil Ledrain, a casual worshipper of Zebna Embraced Silk, and a dubious worshipper of Thothil Brainscribed, which probably at least means she can get a lot of satisfaction from her religion. But she may have to spend all her time in the temple, where she occasionally punches people. Right, anyway, I keep trying to stop and then not stopping. Good night, all. And yes, there is a lot of stuff going on in my fortress. We still need soap, and we still haven't got any cats. Not sure cats would be much good against giant rats, actually, but still.